Good morning, Sophie French here, life coach and business mentor, helping you to crush the can't in your head so that you can create the life and business that is so delicious you want to slurp it up with a spoon. And what I want to talk to you about today is something that I see in my clients, in my friends, something that really holds them back from everything that they've ever wanted. And that is assuming the worst. So think about it. How often is it that you assume the worst of a situation? You get yourself into such a tiz, into catastrophe, and then it turns out that actually you had nothing to be worried about at all. So for example, you send your prices to a client, you send your proposal, and then you don't hear anything. Silence. You assume that that's it, they don't want to work with me, they think my prices are too high, they've seen straight through me, they hate me. All of these things come into our heads and we make this catastrophe out of them. And then a few days later, we get an email to say, yeah, great, how do we go ahead? What a waste of time and energy that was. So I'm sure you can relate to this in some way or another, assuming the worst of a situation. But actually, what I want your new personal mantra to be as of today is to assume the best of every situation, of every person. Because once you start doing that, your life will change dramatically. Because when you really think about it, we are assuming all of the time. We're making assumptions about people, we're making assumptions about situations, we're making assumptions about what people may or may not think. But none of it's real, none of it's true. We're just assuming. We're essentially making it all up. So, if you're going to be making it up, doesn't it make sense that you make up something that A, makes you feel good, and that B, doesn't take up a whole load of gross energy? So, when you assume the best, you can change things around. You're changing the meaning that you put on a situation, which changes how you respond and how you behave, which therefore changes your entire experience. So, for example, again with the client example, if they didn't get back to you in the time where you expected them to get back to you, your expectation that you've put on it, or if someone doesn't text you back in the time that you expect them to, or if a friend or your mom puts the phone down and you assume, or that isn't the way you expect them to behave with you, you might assume the worst. But actually, it's time to start assuming the best. So, thinking about a client that hasn't responded, how can you assume the best? The way to think this is the question, what can I think instead? So, client not getting back to you, I could think they must have seen straight through me and they don't want to work with me. Or I could think they're probably really busy. I gave them a lot of information and they've got time to process it. They have got kids and lots of things going on, so they'll get back to me when they're ready. Maybe if they don't get back, that's cool. They're not ready yet and they're not for me. So worst case scenario makes you feel like crap and essentially stops you from doing other things, or assuming best case scenario helps you to let go of that energy and get on with your life. Which one is it to be? Because really you're making it up either way, you're making the assumption. So instead of assuming the worst, decide to assume the best. So I hope that this helps. It's a really powerful way to start changing how you're thinking about certain things, because I'm sure, as you can see, the power in that, you get to decide whether you're assuming the worst and therefore feeling the worst, or assuming the best, feeling the best, or simply just letting it go, moving on, so that you can actually function and feel good. So, what is it to be? Remember to ask yourself, with every situation, if it's making you feel bad, what can I think instead? Because you have the power over what's going on in here, and it's up to you which side of the story you're going to run away with. If you would like to find out more about how you can crush the can't in your head, and about how you can get really clear on those really personal, unique assumptions that you make that are making you feel rubbish and how you can turn them around, I am running my workshop, How to Crush the Can't in Your Head. There are 2 coming up in June. One is in Leicester and one is in London. There are just 4 spaces available on both, and I would absolutely love to see you there. We are going to be looking at what that mean voice in your head is saying to you, how it's holding you back, and how you can change it and rewire it for good, so that you are able to always assume the best, and so it's just a natural thing that you do. We'll also be looking at working out what it is you really, really want. Not the things you think you should want, not the things other people on the internet are saying, not the things your family think you want, but what you actually really want. And we'll be looking at really powerful ways that you can start to take action and make it happen. And you are going to moonwalk out with a real confidence and really knowing what your next steps are, with a huge surge of motivation. And I am really, really excited to see you there. It's an absolutely gorgeous group that we have gathering an entire day to focus on you, on what you want, on what's getting in the way, and how to get rid of it, so that you can break through to everything that you really want. I look forward to seeing you there. Details are below where you can grab one of the final tickets, and I will speak to you really soon.